Hello, my name is Corey Angelot. Welcome to the End of Slavery Summit. I'm here with a friend, somebody who can help us understand a bit more about our world in a different sense, a sense that maybe you've never heard about before, through the lens of frequency, energy, even electricity. We have electricity around us often in today's world, and a lot of different frequencies and vibrations, may you say. But do we really understand them? Do we understand their role, its implications, how we can maybe master the elements and what they do within our lives so we can use them to our benefits? Are we putting out frequencies we don't want to put out? Or are we putting out frequencies that do assist us, maybe heal us? And some people might consider this like new age spirituality. But I do want to differentiate and say it doesn't have to be new age. There can be action being done while we look at the information and take out the good out of it. We don't just have to meditate all day, but we can, take action at the same time as realize the inaction or the essential inaction, the inaction that requires introspection. A lot of speakers that we've had so far in the summit talk about the inner work that has to be done, finding yourself, the sovereignty, the self mastery, the self ownership. And so we can kind of delve into that. Welcome, Ted. I appreciate you for joining me. If you can introduce a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it. Well, we're on these really interesting adventures and journeys and stuff like that. I was raised a Catholic, went to a Catholic school, later taught in a Catholic school, which was a very eye-opening experience. I taught with St. Joe nuns. They were like the disciplinary order. And I know you've done various pieces on slavery. That was an experience for me that uh, created no individual growth. It was very programmed. And for me, it was personally upsetting. So, I had what I would think was kind of a normal childhood and graduated from college and found the love of my life still with her and uh, started this adult adventure trying to figure the world out, where you fit in it, and what you want to do. I was helping a friend of mine over in the valley, and one afternoon, I was probably in my early 20s, we're walking down the road, and this is a former Special Forces person who had become one of my Zen masters. And he had some very unique experiences. And I had tremendous energy and ideas, and I had read hundreds of books even back then and studied most of the major religions. And he'd listen to me and he'd laugh.
Hmm.
And so this one afternoon, we took a break from what we were doing and we're walking down this little country lane. So if you can picture an absolutely beautiful, clear blue morning, no clouds in the sky, kind of sunny like it is today, mid 80s, just perfect. And so we're talking about stuff, and he's like, okay, kid, what are you going to do with yourself? You're here. What are you going to do? And I started asking questions. And as we're walking, Corey, it starts to rain. Now, there's no clouds in the sky, but it's raining on me. Okay. And it's raining up to maybe 6 feet in front of me. I didn't really see it raining behind me. And we progressed with this walk for maybe a half mile down this country lane. And it rained the whole way throughout this walk. There were things that were said and things that I think were downloaded or inputted into me at that time, um, that caused me to reevaluate the questions I was asking. Maybe I wasn't asking the right questions. You know, uh, at that time, I started to look more into understanding energy. My father was an electrical mechanic, and I learned a lot about electricity and actually had a Christmas decorating business at one time. So we did a lot of things with electric and lights. And uh, my wife was very into uh, different frequency of lights. And I can talk about a number of different things, but I think for uh, young people and even grown up young people like myself, I my I listen to people. What do they want to do? And people your age think old is like 25 or 35 or something like that. My goal is to be happy and healthy at 300. Okay, because your body is a intelligent network that's waiting for you to decide what to do. You know, it and and there are entities that know how to program that for you that maybe you don't want them programming it. Have you noticed like uh, people who are into the news and weather when they'll tell you on the weather. In fact, they even now name storms to make them more personal and to solidify the energy. But they'll tell you that, it's going to be very cold tomorrow. Wear this, or possibility of this kind of rain or shower, or, oh, it's going to be terribly hot tomorrow. So all the time they're trying to get you mentally on their course of what they're looking to create. And the more they do that, the more they get to control what you're going to create. It's all like sitting down to and memorizing algebra or something like that.
Hmm.
It's being guided. And I think people today need to say, wait, this is me. You know, I'm Ted. I choose what I want to create. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I, I say, it's going to be another great day. And when I meet people, when I go into the office, it's another great day. And they say, I'm glad you're here today. You brighten up my day every time you come in. So the question is, why don't we all choose to brighten that up?
Hmm.
Did you ever look at the word enjoy? And instead of the INJOY, they changed it to ENGOI. But, enjoy is a choice of how you want to live. And if your day isn't going so well, we have the choice to push the do-over button, to start again, to take a time out. Parents today, when a child is not performing to their perceived program or they don't have the time for them, they give them a time out, and people look at that as being like a negative thing. Friends, a time out is your opportunity to breathe in and decide which direction you're going to go next.
Yeah.
So I really think that people need to understand that they're not this flesh vehicle. Okay, this is a whole ocean of energy, and your vehicle, RNA, DNA, is a completely magnificent, intelligent vehicle that can take you anywhere, whether it's physically or mentally. You know, people go to the movies, people get involved in gaming situations because they want adventure, they want experience. You know, we can do that all the time. How many people out there have taken the time to just sit there and maybe look at an ant? If you haven't, try this, please. So you see an ant or a bug crawling across the surface of a rock. You know, leave your conscious being join the ant. And, you know, it's not shape shifting, it's mentally being in syncrasy with it, that you're linking up to whatever that other entity is, and you're traveling across the rock surface or down a tunnel. You're getting the feeling for, you know, is it hungry? Is it thirsty? They're burning up lots of energy to get somewhere, you know, or when you watch a mother bird feeding its young and they're responding to it, do you take the time to leave your energy flow out to that and feel the pride and love flowing between that mother and her young, and the young, their energy? You know, we all can do this. We can do this. Yeah, yeah. When I was maybe your age, the expression used to be "go hug a tree."
Hmm. People still tell me that.
And I used to do that often. I have recently planted another 52 trees on my property. And I walk around with them. I've talked with them. I've gone out to Cook Forest out in western Pennsylvania. It's the largest ancient growth forest in Pennsylvania. I've been up in BC on a private Burrard Indian Reserve with trees that were as big or bigger than the redwoods. And a lot of your viewers may have watched a movie where they talked about Home Tree,
Hmm.
you know, and how the network and fibers of a tree are connected, and it's an intelligent network. Well, I have to tell you, we are Home Tree. You know, when you're grounded and vertical, you're receiving energy from the cosmos all the time. You know, that also is one of the values of trees, in that they pull this divine energy flowing through the cosmos and bring it down to the earth. Uh, and there's whole ecosystems set up that way, on the tree, on the bark, in the leaves that break down. Uh, the universe is so amazing, uh, and it's this ocean of energy. We can create anything with it. There's no limit to it other than what's up here. So, so if everybody would take a little more time and do the work word, you know, like decide what you want, you know, or don't. You don't have to have all the answers. You know, you can just say, you know, it's going to be a great day. I know I'm going to have an interesting adventure today. But you have to plug into the collective energy, you know, and then it flows through you, and then what you do and experience uh, is part of the creative flow, rather than me saying, you know, I have to do such and such today by this time, or my whole day is going to be a waste. You know, or here, I used to hear this. Uh, the administrator at the front of our desk, uh, I'd come in and I'd say hi to her in my normal cheery mode and ask her how she was doing. And she'd say, well, I'm looking forward to vacation in September, 3 months
Mm.
from now. And I'd say, well, Gladys, you don't have to wait for 3 months to decide to be happy, you know. And after about 2 years that I finally cracked that egg, she finally started to, hey, it's another great day, you know. So it's kind of like there's no boundaries on people living in joy. You know, don't wait for somebody to make you happy. Don't wait for going on vacation to have another adventure. Sit down, travel with a bug, watch a butterfly. You know, it's such a magical world. And after you uh, start to leave your energy, frequency, and vibration flow out, uh, I know I've taught a number of kids this from that experience with the weather and energy. Uh, I started spending more time like relating to clouds
Mm.
and allowing energy to flow through me to clouds. And when my children were 3, 4, 5 years old, we would have a group hug and sit, and I talk to them about how are you feeling today, you know. And if they weren't feeling that great, or they had a difficult experience at school or whatever, I would have them examine that and say, okay, so how are we going to change this? You know, how is this going to be a better experience? And a lot of times we would sit there and look up at the clouds, and I'd say, okay, now connect to the cloud, give it some energy, and see if, given more energy, it won't decide to move on to something else, probably more fun. And so we would do that. And I've taught many people to just, you know, focus on a little cloud and dissolve part of it or cut it in half or something like that. Sounds kind of kooky. It is so easy to do. Just because you don't connect that way doesn't mean you can't,
Mm.
you know. And when you do, then you understand a little bit more about the cosmic collective and what the people who are trying to enslave you are trying to get you to accept and get you to think that you're this limited vehicle when we're not. We
Mm.
should all have lots more fun. You know, how do you break out of any slavery or pattern? First, you got to want to, and then you have to make the choice. You know, haven't you found in your experience with, you interrelate with so many different people from so many backgrounds? Haven't you found that the common thread is people want to be liked and people want to be loved?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody already has the answer. You know, we just need the tools. Now, years ago, that was part of what parenting was before they got so distracted with the struggles of staying in life and grandparenting. Uh, and the neighborhood I grew up in, I could go anywhere in that neighborhood and play with any of those kids. And when it came time to eat, one of those parents took us in and we ate. And they called my parent and said, Ted's having lunch with us. You know, there, the neighborhood was a community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, how do we make the world a better place? Look after your community. Look after the elderly in your community. Look after the youngsters in your community. When young people are doing something the hard way or in a way that's not beneficial, like they're planting a tree and they're going about it the wrong way, or they haven't properly prepared the soil. How often do people walk by and not take the time? It's not like nobody created you a slave that you can only talk when spoken to, or can only help people when I tell you to. You have the choice to share whatever energy in whatever manner you can. Now, respect that some people uh, may not want to interact, but everybody wants to be loved. So if you take the step to reach out to people and mentally they're just not in the framework to interact at the time, we can still make them smile. Just like you send energy up to a cloud, or expect the weather to be perfect every day and harmonious with nature. Why listen to the news and the weather when you can create it? Not the way you want it to, the way that's in perfect harmony with everything around you.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get rid of droughts? If they are everybody's upset about geoengineering. Somebody should do something about this. They're absolutely right. And the somebody is you. And the somebody's you. You should do something about this. You should make the conscious choice to make this a better world, to be in joy. And am I happy and in joy all the time? No. I hit my thumb the other night with a hammer and it was not joyful.
Oh my.
you know, I did what I had to do with a little bit of ice and DMSO, and then the rest of the night was just perfect.
Yeah.
So you're a young, amazing individual,
You too.
and I've enjoyed meeting you. I've enjoyed watching you relate to people. I've enjoyed watching your patience and your stillness. People don't always have to talk. I'm sorry that I'm talking so much, but I was asked to talk, so I will. There is great power in stillness. And I don't mean just standing still or sitting by a tree. I mean stilling the mind. Man, I am like fived up right now, so I hope you're all getting this. I know you are, because that's the way it all works. But there's such great power in stillness that if you can get still and there's so much joy to just leaving loving energy flow through you, you know, and just shifting your focus to trees. When you're in crowds, one of the best places that I find lots of joy in is like in airports. You know, in an airport, you can watch people excited and they're going somewhere, and then you can see other people coming, and usually you can tell if they're sunburned or on their way back. But you, like their facial expressions is not full of enthusiasm. They have less ethos or energy. You know, that's not the way I come back from a vacation. When I come back from a vacation, I'm like bubbles coming off. You know, it's like I want to share that with everybody. I don't have to tell them that, but
Right.
I'm recharged when I come back from the vacation. And I hope everybody out there is too, you know, but like train stations, uh, oh, like when I pick my grandkids up at school and I watch the kids coming out of school, it's funny how like they can be talking to each other and kidding around and all that stuff. And then when they get and hop in the car, they kind of put their head down. And, so how was school today? Uh, okay. Did you do anything fun? Nah, it just school pop up, you know. And it's sad that they're taught that that is the normal response.
Hmm.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
You know? Well, who do they learn this from? Sorry, guys, you adults. You know, okay, you got to correct this now. You know that you've put that energy out in that restricted pattern. You help create that response. You now have the responsibility of walking that back, uncreating that. You have to
Yeah.
do that with love. You have to do that with creativity and adventure to challenge that youth or even just that other person. You know, I'm a little bit older than some of you out there. You know, I challenge you to take the time this week to talk with somebody older than you and make them smile. Don't leave them get away without you making them smile. I guarantee when you do that, it's going to feel good. You know, that this whole collective consciousness is waiting for direction. It's waiting for us to, to give life. The angelics are waiting for an invitation to they're sure they're there for protection and you can ask for that, but they're here to help co-create. That's part of what they're here for, you know. So work with them, learn about them. The elemental kingdom is vast, you know. I mean, just the diversity in the insect community is scary. You know, so like get beyond your physical vehicle. You know, you're so much more than that. And reach out, go on adventures, you know, co-create really neat stuff. Form groups like this young man trying to share experiences. You know, isn't that why we're here? You know, and if you don't get it right, you have the choice to try to recreate that in a more positive fashion. See, all the stuff that's here that's messed up, or people people my age or younger than me, I hear them talking about the news and all the terrible stuff on the news and what's happening over in Eastern Europe and this and that, or what's happening in that city. And it's like, okay, so what are you doing about it? Here's this ocean of energy. What are we doing about this? Are you saying that that was a terrible thing that happened in that community? You know, I know that we can do better. You know, and like spirit, show me how to be more loving. Show me how, or send us the energy 24/7 to help heal this, and for people to learn how to live more abundantly and in more joy. You know, so we can take the time to do that. The other thing that when you understand and feel that energy flowing, you actually adopt like a self program. It's like my program, when I hear stuff like that, automatically heals it, flows it, makes it more abundant. So, what if 7 billion people all wanted their community to be better? What if 7 billion people wanted to grow healthier food and share it? Because it's so abundant. There's such abundant food in the world, you know. And what if we just kind of, there's uh, uh, a whole philosophy called Ubuntu. And I encourage my wife brought it to me. We both have read the books. There's great videos on it. But I live out in western or eastern Pennsylvania, where there's a lot of Amish and Mennonite, and their communities are a little bit different than ours. But I've learned a lot living out here in the way that their communities support each other. And I think the programming and system here in Western civilization has fragmented us, not only as families, but as communities. And if you uh, don't have a clear understanding or pathway of what more you might do, you might look into Ubuntu. Go on YouTube and check it out. Uh, Great concept. I kind of see that happening around here. The other thing, dealing with energy, um, I mean, I would assume many people have seen The Matrix.
Hmm. Yeah, very symbolic.
Um, there's a lot of truth in that, you know, and I don't encourage you all yet, while you're still learning, to go out and dodge bullets like Kennedy Reed. But it's not to say that you can.
Mm.
It's not to say that when you connect in whatever way you choose to do that, that you can't see through the illusion. And you can't make the claim that, look out, because we're going to create a great new world. And I hope that's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that. Everything you said, I think can resonate with so many different individuals. I like the different angles that you took on this. To me, it kind of sounds like it's a matter of kind of what you embrace. I don't know, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, but if a kid or an adult, both equally the same, I would say, because they both have a conscience, they both are, in the same reality. If they embrace grievance or moaning, when they wake up, I mean, that's going to be a continual theme. They're going to condition themselves. They're going to get used to it. But if they embrace happiness, that even if grievance does come, they will become happy because of that's their condition. That's what they made their program out to be. Then that will be the result condition often and often. And it's funny. You mentioned kids. When I was younger, I had a very strong support system, through my family. So if I had a problem in school, I would tell my parents, and the first thing they would do would be cheer me up. It's like they can talk a little bit about it, and it's like bring it into cheering me up.
That's so great. Yeah, we should all do that.
hmm Yeah, it's like I wonder how often the news would, go like, "Oh, here's a super fearful story, and now let's talk about." But don't worry, because we can make it better. No, they don't. They don't say that, and they don't ask the
Well,
why or the how.
actually, I'm going to give you a little plug. There's a Good News Network organization. They don't publish a lot, but if everybody wants to get some positive news and things that are being creative, the Good News Network organization is a great vehicle for exactly what you're saying. And I think, especially people, a lot of people are on Facebook and the social media things, and it's kind of like whisper down the lane, Corey. Everybody gets on there and bitches. Heck with that. Come on.
Yeah.
How are you going to contribute positive, creative energy into the universe by bitching? Do something about it. And you're talking about outlook. The other really important thing is no matter how your day has gone through, okay, you can rework the the memory of that day by seeing the positive in that day, and the actual memory that is recorded within your vehicle then becomes more energetic. I mean, the energy is a thousand times more powerful. And if you're grateful at the end of the day, like when I go to bed and I'm laying there and my wife comes to bed or something like that, I am grateful for my day. I don't have to go back to every detail of it. I'm grateful for it. And if something I want to feel better about, I breathe into it. Okay. And I know tomorrow is going to be another great day. People who have studied theological writings have heard something called about dwelling in a state of grace. Okay. Well, if you're grateful for even the obstacles, if you're grateful for being alive and being able to create, that puts you in a state of grace. Okay. The elementals and angelics are much more eager to help you because they know that you recognize they're co-creating with you and are there to help. So being in living in joy, being grateful, uh, being able to be bigger than just yourself and saying that I'm part of this community or I'm part of a more spiritual community. And I'm not talking religion, I'm talking energetics, spirit, um, and just enjoying learning. I mean, I it's just my belief that this isn't like my first experience here, so I have a lot of information, as I think many of you that are here now do, that you've gathered up until this point, that uh, you should be sharing. You should be aware of, and making this a better community. We haven't always been successful. This time, I know we are. So let's get to it quicker by being happier,
Hmm.
you know, being healthier. You know, that whole attack program that they did to try to modify you and all that. Hopefully, a lot of you did not fall for that. Those that did, look into MMS or whatever you need to do to detoxify your vehicle. But doggone it, let's start having more fun.
Hmm.
Let's stop the droopy face.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that crap about this not being an abundant planet and there being everything here. You
Hmm.
know, energy, they talk about fuel oil. That's all bullshit. They're just trying to do that Dustin Hoffman wag the dog. They want you fearful. They want to mentally control the thoughts, uh, that they want you to help unfold.
Hmm.
So if they get you in sync and all these dominoes line up in sync the way they want it to, uh, that's what they create. And you accept it by choosing to create that. So all these dominoes become your pen that they enslave you in. Bullshit. You know, don't do that. You're much more powerful than all that. And they
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. In natural law, we talk about the principle of mentalism, one of the Hermetic principles, and that is the idea that all is mind and that all is created with the mind. So it makes sense that the thoughts are just really that powerful. I'm going to ask you a question now, and maybe this one is, kind of dependent. But we can control a lot of things within our universe from what it sounds, right? Like,
Absolutely.
would you say everything? Not everything, right? We don't have full dominion over nature, but we are able to control much of it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So there's still like a level to which we have to respect what is here and what is all around us, so that because we can't say like we're God, right?
Well, we are God. But in knowing that, you have to realize that all energy is us. See, there's an essence from Creator to you through you. Same thing through me. You know, People want to separate the experiences. Well, you're this, you're that, whatever. Okay. In the universal collective, we're all experiences of God. So if I value and see the essence of who you are, you know, how did I accept the conditioning that you're something less than a godchild? You know, why should I hate you? Why am I being told that you're the enemy? Why am I being told that you're, you know, an eco tour terrorist, or, uh, these Pennsylvania Dutch people are? bad people. Why? What? Makes
Hmm.
no sense if we're all the same.
Right.
We're all part of the community. It's just a bigger community than what they're telling you you are.
Hmm.
And that's the community you are. Well, here's another thought. What if the experiences that each of you is experiencing is only your experience? And that's not my experience. Whatever it is you're perceiving is not what I'm perceiving right now. You know, I'm actually having a really great time. Sorry if you're not, but you know, so at first I looked into other individual creations as being a support system to the universe that I'm experiencing around here. But the more I look into it, it's kind of like if I know it's my universe, it's all my universe, then I'm more responsible for what I put into that universe. And I'm also responsible for having it be the best it can be. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think there's like kind of two ways of looking at like the situation that I proposed. It's like you can look at it like we're all connected or we're all essentially of the spirit of God and the fact that or of nature or the intelligence of the energy and the fact that we all can create literally any scenario, and that's why we've had massive bloodshed before and also had great, utopian places before. Like we can create either one dependent on us, and we seem like we can have that ability, and with technology and everything that we've created, we seem very powerful, that we can essentially be that creator. But also there's another perspective that says, well, we're not God. We can try to be and then rule over others and try to claim that we're different from others, by trying to be God when we're not. So like I think, it's two different perspectives that ultimately lead to the same path, which is like self-responsibility, respect your fellow man, whether there's someone higher than you or whether you are the highest version alongside everyone else, the same rule applies that everybody should be treated equally.
Yeah, I kind of picture it like if this were the central sun and I'm a uh, fiber optic connected and you're a fiber optic connected. Okay, we're both light bodies and light beings connected to the same place. So I don't see you as being, well, you have a little more hair than me, but I don't see you as being any different than me if we're connected. And I don't count you as being separate or higher or less than me.
Mhm.
And uh, we used to be taught this, you know, in Native American teachings, we used to be taught this,
Right.
the connectedness of all.
Mhm.
And part of the genetic programming and part of the fracturing of multiple languages and uh, by wars, the constant division of countries into smaller units and more divided units. I mean, you know, we need to reach beyond that, and we
Mhm.
can. Just so, I mean, I hope everybody understands that the time that it takes a thought or to send energy to China is faster than that. There's no difference. And if you haven't learned to telepathically to reconnect again, shame on you. You know, when you were in your mother's womb, you were connected telepathically.
Hmm.
When you're first born, don't you think that child, what now that it's out of the womb, is like, hey, mom, I'm here. Always, you know, they feel separated. Okay, we used to be taught the Swahili warriors connected mentally across half of Africa. The Aboriginal people, they would call a meeting, and a couple days later, 1,000 miles away, they would all gather. The Native American cultures would do that. They used to be taught that by the women uh, who were spiritual counselors. And of course, out of Europe, we fractionalized the women, uh, took care of the priesthood, and it became male dominant. So I think we have to do more work. I think I'm not going to give you guys an excuse, but there is no John Wayne out there right now to be the right example. And I don't know if he was perfect, but I think the way our egos have been shaped, it's a little harder for men. I think they cause a lot of unnecessary hurt and pain with the uh, other community. Um, and I think we're responsible to fix that.
Hmm.
Let's choose to be more loving.
Yeah.
Let let's choose to recognize the beauty in women.
Hmm.
Let's reverence that. There should be, these attacks, these misuses, the negative things that have been taught and learned by people. We need to fix that.
Hmm.
We're bigger than that. You know, and so I think if everybody, even if we don't start with 7 billion, even if we start with you and me and whoever's on this call, if we just say, okay, I'm a powerful being, all this energy's here, let's do something good with it right now, you know, and we start doing that more, and we start developing that self program, even if there's 144,000 of us. We multiply that by 1,000 times 1,000 times. We can do this.
Hmm.
You know, and whether you guys do it or not, I care, but it doesn't affect me. I'm going to do it.
Right.
Because I feel connected to do that, and I'm going to have more fun. I'm going to live in joy. The universe around me uh, is pretty green. It's pretty abundant. Uh, and, if I can help you, I will. Corey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for sharing all this information. And I agree, everybody should generally treat each other equally. I mean, this is what it means to have freedom, right? For everybody, not just select individuals, but for everybody. And that is real freedom. So, we can look at people as higher or lesser, but if we set that up for ourselves, then we're degrading the human status. We're saying, well, this person is lesser by saying someone else is higher, or this person is lesser, therefore this person is higher. No. And then we set that up. And again, we set that as our program, our condition. No, it doesn't have to be that way. The minute we say somebody's lesser than us, is the program that we're trying to create. And we don't want that program. So I definitely appreciate everything you had to share. Is there any last resources that you want to give to anybody, any websites, books, or actions that you want to mention?
Well, I've read a lot, so it's hard to say that. Um, I think everybody has uh, come to a point in this life that you all should be proud of. You should be proud of your accomplishments. Uh, I think do things that make you reflect, like the Essene say about the mirror reflecting the
Mhm.
energy. Um, I'll send you some ideas or books that might help with that.
Sure,
Um,
that works.
and if you get some good questions and people want to learn techniques on how to do things that they're currently not being taught, I don't have any problem sharing tools.
Okay.
Um, and you
Yeah.
know, I I'm greatly encouraged with what you're doing and your whole community. And I love you. And if I can help in any way, I'd be happy to. I'd be honored.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Love to you too and your family and everything that you've done for everybody all this time. And I'm glad to have met you. And so I can't wait to keep going and share this message with more people. I appreciate having you. And if anybody wants to see a lot more speakers like this and a lot of great other people, go to nita.one/summit, nita.one/summit. This is the End of Slavery Summit. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care, everybody.